Uh, what Zambia has managed to do to change parties in our region in SADC, it's quite rare because out of how many countries are we? Is it 14? It's not common, but where they haven't gone to is to the level of securing that democracy, such that the things that are complained in the previous party are then corrected by the incoming party. And then the next one that then comes still continues to improve so that their democratic infrastructure is solid. Once it's solid, that will have an effect on the region. They should be able or in a position to export how they are doing it to neighboring countries. It's unfortunate that when we talk about these things, we talk about the leader to say, oh, HH managed to do this, is it Kaunda or whoever, they've done this. And we don't see the role the people are playing and how they secure their own democracy. Because those are the concepts and teachings that should be exported to other areas, to say if they are managing to do it correctly, people should be able to copy it. There are also other countries in Africa who have managed to do that, countries like Benin, but right now they are on a downward trajectory. They are almost losing that sense of democracy where people can elect a leader, and if they are not happy, that leader would lose power in the next election. Senegal was also in such a position. They've been said to be quite a democratic space, but there's stuff that continues to happen there. So we haven't really exercised democracy at its best. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual thing. And those mistakes that certain politicians do are supposed to be lessons to everyone who will be watching to say, is this what we want or we don't want this? And if we don't want it, it's not just about complaining that we don't want it. We should be able to place or put in place control mechanisms that make it impossible for anyone to do that. Just like how Thabo Mbeki was stopped from trying to do a third term, Ramaphosa would never dream of it, even if having a third term would protect him from the legal stuff that he has. It's an ideal situation for him, and he has seen people in Zimbabwe do it. You can try it, but there are still people who resisted Thabo Mbeki doing that, who will still go up in arms to say, we have been here before and this is what we did and we are going to do it again. So those kind of lessons are very necessary. So whatever is happening in Zambia now, that you pause counting, who are you? Who are you to pause counting? So next time they should be able to know when things are in motion, no one should have that power. I'm not ndangozvinzwa panapa kunyanya kutedzera zvangu kuti what's really happening there. But it's lessons.
But only Gab, why people are so low? So do we have to import what other people are doing? Yet we can then say we are sovereign nation. We write our
hold on, Dobbs. Hold on a little bit. Just hold on. Ongabi, you have a very good presentation, but I don't know.
Anodio, did you meet me today?
Wait, my brother. Wait. I'm saying this presentation you made, you rushed over it. And I think the points that people should hear or listen to are: one, what is shortcoming in Benin? What is shortcoming in Senegal? What are the shortcomings of the Zambian system, if ever? Because I would congratulate Zambia in one aspect. What are their institutions doing to safeguard the change from one administration to another? without bloodshed, without loss of life. Yes,
Okay.
yeah. No,
Let me
I
try
don't
to
want to
just give.
present that. I want you to go back because I noticed you were rushing.
All right. So in Benin, um, they trusted something that is being planted in our country to say when somebody is a very good businessman, they can be a very good what do you call politician. Just like how Trump rose to power to say these politicians, career politicians, are wrong. I've been doing so much success in business. I'm now going into politics, and people trust him. And then he does nonsense. And we have heard of businessmen who are trying to come in, so-called businessmen, and Kuba Kwashe Tagure. It will still fall into that. Now, there's a guy, I always remember his nickname, not his real name. They used to call him the Cotton Man, one of the richest people from Benin, who then went into politics. But after he entered, instead of actually putting security around their the democratic institution, he then started to erode it to make sure that he has control. If he left, somebody new came in, but he still has control of who comes in, and he decides that the person who became president now, or is it prime minister, was his finance minister, and they have a very good working relationship. So you might think that there is change that's happening, but he is perpetuating his control over things, which is a form of dominance. Same applies with Senegal, that when people, the power of a political individual and not the power of a political institution, to say when you run a campaign saying we are going to change these things, and then now you are in the office, you then use the power that seat carries to do other things instead of what you ran on. And when people try to put you to order, you bring all this repression to try and keep yourself in power. So those things don't need to be guarded by people themselves. The institutions should be able to do that. The courts in what do you call in Senegal have given the executive an advantage, which shouldn't be like that. They should be able to say, no, 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 this guy as a president, what he's trying to achieve is not what we want in our country. They are not a strong institution. They are being overpowered by the executive. So strengthening those things, I know I'm just waffling around the bits and pieces, but it's things that we should look into and see how they are solving it, and also then see how we can then establish better systems that won't fall into the pitfalls that others are falling now. Because when we reimagine a new Zimbabwe, we shouldn't try to, we shouldn't go back on mistakes that Zambia is making now. We should be able to incorporate in our solutions to say, in as much as we are rewriting or restarting, we are still securing something that happened in Zambia so that it doesn't happen here. Something that almost happened in South Africa so that it doesn't happen here. What happened in Tanzania must never happen here. So you'll be creating a stronger, what do you call, a stronger mechanism that can guard all of these possible malpractices, that when an individual gets to a position of influence or authority, they can then turn around things because they've got the instruments to defend their stupid ideas.
Yeah, but I want you to comment on the ability of the Zambian Electoral Commission to announce a winning candidate other than being muzzled by the incumbent administration and announce rigged results. And I think it's something Zimbabwean Electoral Commission should also be able to pick. And they go there and say, guys, how do you manage this when politicians come in and steal ballot box and hinder this process? Uh,
Also, another also,
No, I'm saying while Ongab is looking at things that Zambia has done, which we should not do. I think there's still something for us to learn from Zambia. because
Yeah,
we
but
have no,
I heard as if you said our own Zach should go there. Did you say so?
yes, yes, Tepo, I said so.
Anodiwa,
Yes.
I doubt very much that ours is an issue of either learning or not learning. Ours is an issue to do with the willingness, the will to do something rather than to learn. That's why I posed that question right at the beginning to say what is the relevance? Because if there was something that maybe would have been learned, then from the chronology that Dobbs gave here, we could have learned and implemented quite a lot. So I don't think we are lacking learning opportunities. They are all.
Did I not answer that question, Katan?
You probably answered Ongabi, but here is the question.
No, I wanted to hear from him
Okay, but
in what I was saying.
to both of you, he is talking of willingness. But here is my question: is our
No,
Zeki working for
wait,
ZAP?
Anudio. Anudio.
Okay,
So when somebody asks a question and people try to answer it and they repeat it, it then means probably the question hasn't been answered. So maybe instead of repeating it, you can try to rephrase it so that we understand where we are missing each other. Because I thought I actually covered that. So if I didn't, you can then bring it up to say, oh no, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and you missed this, and this is what I meant by my question. So that after another speaker speaks, that question doesn't come back. At least it has to be answered on the relevance of what we can learn.
I know. I think for me, when I on Gab, it's more around how do you eat an elephant? Biki Biki McMeer, one who come and grab the tusk, other person who come for the lungs. So I'm not really expecting a full answer from just one person. I think you have answered to a certain extent, and so has Sepo and everyone else. And whilst you're also presenting, I'm learning a lot. So yeah, so some of these ones are like follow-up questions rather than me seeking a response to the original one or to the initial one. So I appreciate your response and everyone else. I think I'm getting a picture from what everyone is saying rather than to say on Gabi has answered the question to the full extent. I don't want to say that because I think you've touched on quite a lot of things. Some of them I ended up struggling to follow your analogy or your presentation. Yeah, but I think it's to do with me rather than what you were saying, because whatever you were saying, I'm alright to fire off with. So I think that's my response to you to you when on Gab.